When you hire a dumpster service to haul away the debris from a home renovation, Habs Nation, you're not buying a shiny new product. You're literally paying hard-earned cash for someone to take the trash off your hands. And right now, the Montreal Canadiens front office has just ordered the biggest dumpster in the NHL. The Canadian media dropped the bomb early this morning. General Manager Kent Hughes has his finger hovering over the red demolition button, and the primary target isn't some underperforming prospect. It's the $8.7 million ghost named Patrik Laine. Once upon a time, Laine was a marquee attraction of hockey, a player with a shot that tore through nets across the league. But time and biology have cashed their checks. He's coming off core muscle surgery, has played a measly 5 games this season, and has turned into a tourist in our medical department. Worst of all, his contract is locking up Montreal's vault at a moment when the team dreams of reeling in giant fish like superstar Robert Thomas. Today, we're going to dissect the anatomy of this corporate cleanup. We'll break down why the Canadiens will be forced to bribe other teams to dump this contract, how the swift justice of hockey crushed the career of a former phenom, and what it means to pay a player's salary just to watch him suit up against you. But before I flash the salary cap spreadsheets on your screen, I'm placing the front office pen in your hand. You're deciding Canada's financial fate right now. Would you be willing to tear up money, paying half of Patrik Laine's salary and tossing in a draft pick just to clear space on your cap sheet? Or do you find it utterly absurd for the franchise to pay corporate bribes, preferring to let Laine rot on the bench until his contract expires mid-year? Think with the coldness of an accountant, because bookkeeping wins Stanley Cups. Let's dive into the scene of this financial collision. The situation is pure math. The Canadiens have no room on the ice for Laine. The tactical system under Martin St. Louis is fast-paced, built on speed, transition, and a relentless 200-foot game. Laine, post-surgery, has lost the physical explosiveness that once made him a terror. In those 5 games this season, he looked like a shadow of his former self. Slow to react, unable to keep up with the play, and ineffective in the high-tempo style that defines his roster. He's not just a poor fit. He's a square peg, a round hole, clogging a lineup spot that could go to a hungry young player or a deadline acquisition. Then there's the cap hit, a staggering $8.7 million for this season alone. That's money tied up in a player who isn't contributing at a time when Montreal is eyeing elite targets like Robert Thomas to solidify a championship window. With the trade deadline of March 6th looming, every dollar counts. Keeping Laine on the books means less flexibility to make a blockbuster move, less room to extend rising stars down the line, and a tighter squeeze against the salary cap ceiling. It's not just a roster issue. It's a strategic handcuff. This is where the swift justice of hockey delivers its verdict. Laine was once a phenom, a second overall pick with a cannon of a shot who lit up the league with 44 goals as a teenager. But injuries, inconsistency, and perhaps a lack of adaptability have derailed his trajectory. The karma for banking on raw talent without building a complete game, or for teams overpaying on potential without a backup plan, is a career that's crumbled under its own weight. St. Louis, where he was traded last, couldn't unlock him either. Now, Montreal is left holding the bag, a contract signed in a different era for a player who no longer exists. The punishment is clear. If you don't evolve, the game leaves you behind. The brutal reality is that moving Laine won't be easy or cheap. His $8.7 million cap hit, even for just this season, is a deterrent for most teams. His injury history and lack of production make him a hard sell. To offload him, Hughes will likely need to sweeten the deal. Think retaining half his salary, around $4.35 million, and attaching a draft pick, maybe a second or third rounder, just to convince another team to take him. That's not a trade. It's a bribe. We'd be paying millions and sacrificing assets for the privilege of watching Laine play against us in another jersey. It's the ultimate indignity, a dumpster fee for a contract that's become pure debris. And where could he even go? Rebuilding teams like Arizona or Chicago might buy the prices right. They've got cap space and could use a reclamation project. But they'll demand compensation for taking on the risk, knowing Laine's not a sure thing. Contenders won't touch him without massive salary retention, and even then, they'd hesitate given his fit issues. Hughes is in a bind. Pay a steep toll to dump him now, or carry the dead weight until July, when the contract expires as an unrestricted free agent, potentially missing out on deadline moves that could define our season. There's also the cultural angle. Laine was never a vocal leader or a grinder. His game was built on pure scoring talent, not intangibles like work ethic or locker room presence. Keeping him on the bench or in the press box risks souring the mood of a young, hungry team that's bought into St. Louis vision. But trading him at a loss, paying another team to take him, sends a message that Montreal could be fleeced, potentially weakening Hughes' leverage in future deals. It's a lose-lose scenario, born from a contract that never should have been acquired in the first place. But let's consider the flip side. If Hughes stands pat, refusing to pay the dumpster fee, we're stuck with $8.7 million of dead cap space through the deadline. That could mean missing out on a game-changer like Robert Thomas, whose $8.125 million cap hit might require cap gymnastics to fit. If a blockbuster deal is on the table, clearing Laine, even at a steep cost, could be the difference between a good team and a cup contender. Is it worth swallowing the bitter pill now to unlock a bigger prize? Or is the principle of not being extorted more important than short-term gain, even if it means limping through the season with a roster handicap? This is the brutal financial crossroads Hughes faces. On one hand, a chance to clear the decks, open cap space, and position the team for a deadline splash that could cement a championship window. On the other, a humiliating transaction that costs us money and assets just to get rid of a player, setting a dangerous precedent and potentially weakening our future draft depth. It's not just a trade decision. It's a test of whether we're desperate enough to pay for our past mistakes or stubborn enough to endure the pain until it expires naturally. So I'm slamming this deal onto your desk. Approve or veto. Given the stakes, do you tear up money, pay half of Patrik Laine's salary, and throw in a draft pick just to clear space on your cap sheet, opening the door for a bigger move at the deadline? Or do you call an absolute absurdity for the franchise to pay corporate bribes, prefer to let Laine rot on the bench until his contract expires mid-year, no matter the cost of roster flexibility? Lay it all out in the comments. Don't hold back. Argue why you pay the price or why you'd stand your ground. The Bell Center demands fiscal ruthlessness, and the deadline clock is ticking. And don't you dare blink. While we're wrestling with this financial cleanup, another seismic rumor just broke in a different league. A crisis is brewing that could shake up an entire division, and the details are just starting to leak. We'll tear into that in the next video. Stay locked in